Hello and welcome to the third instalment of this guide of how to film yourself, edit yourself and upload yourself to the internet in a film playing the lute. Now, in the first episode we looked at recording, in the second one editing, the third one is uploading. It's going to get a bit complicated, I warn you now. So my first thing to say is that most domestic editing software has a feature that allows you to publish directly from your finished edit to the internet, usually to YouTube or to Facebook and to Vimeo and other sharing sites where you can set up an account, link it to your edit software and then just upload directly. I recommend wherever possible that you do this because it makes life much easier. It's actually what I have done in making these videos for YouTube. I've used iMovie to upload directly to YouTube. However, if you're making a long video, for example, a lecture perhaps about the lute that might run on for quite a few minutes, 15 minutes, half an hour or so, you're going to end up with quite a big file, and it can be really painful on domestic broadband to be uploading these big files. So I've got a few tips for you and a little bit of theory, if you can bear with me for a moment or two as I talk to you about video codecs. Now, this is something that even as a professional TV producer I get terrible jitters about. I find it very complicated and difficult. But essentially, if you imagine that film on film is a series of photographs that spools through very quickly, and it fools the eye because the photographs move at such a speed that you don't even see the individual images, but you see the sort of conglomeration of them and see moving pictures. Now that is sort of what we're doing with digital video, but there's a big difference. We use codecs. Instead of there being a full frame image at every single frame, which would be a huge amount of data, what we have instead is an interpolation by the computer. What I mean by that is that you'll have a master frame every few frames that has completely new information, but then every subsequent frame will be a set of instructions for the computer to recreate the next frame based on the differences between the master frame and the next frame. So for example, in this current shot that we're working in now, the background isn't changing because it's a static shot. The only things that are changing are my mouth and my hands. And so the computer records the differences in the frame, and that means that the data can be less than if it were doing a clean shot every single frame through the video. So that essentially is what a codec does. And it gets complicated because there are lots and lots of different codecs that work on different platforms and different systems. But I'm going to show you one quick way of reducing the size of your video file for uploading to the internet. So here I am on my desktop, and here I have one of my video guides that I've been making today, and it is 966 megabytes. It is big. Now if I want to reduce it, what I'm going to have to do is compress it into a different codec. And the software that I'm going to use for that is called MPEG Streamclip, and it's available on PC and on Mac. So I'm going to launch MPEG Streamclip. There it is. And it's a very simple bit of software, quite easy to use. I'm just going to drag in the video and it'll find it. It might not show the picture of it.
Hello everyone, my name
but there it is. You can play it and preview it and make sure it's okay. You can also trim it if you need to, mark an in and out, which is quite useful. But then what I'm going to do is convert it. And I'm going to export it as a QuickTime. You can experiment with these formats to find ones that are the best for you, but I'm going to do it as a QuickTime. I'm going to use the compression of H.264, which is, there's H.263 somewhere, there will be H.264, I'm pleased to say. There she blows. And that's a very standard video compression for YouTube and online. I'm then going to choose various quality options. It's just an easy slider. You can choose the quality. Obviously, the higher the quality, the bigger the file. The lower the quality, the smaller the file. I'm going to stick it at 50%. I'm going to keep the frame size the same. This is a way of being able to reduce it down to, say, standard definition from high definition, which is to do with the pixel size. But I'm just going to leave that as it is. And I'm going to click on Make Movie, and it's going to have a little think about it. It'll pop up with a place to save it. So I'll save it here as the H.264 version in the same folder. and it'll encode it, and depending on your computer it'll take some time, so mine is going to take a while, so we'll check back in once it's encoded it and we'll see what savings we've made in the data stakes. So over the last 5 minutes or so, MPEG Streamclip has done its work, and I've done a bit of loop practice, and it's spat out a file that's really improved things. The original file out of the editing software was 966 megabytes. This transcoded file as an H.264 with 50% quality settings is now 194 megabytes, so a huge saving in data there, which makes it much easier now to upload to YouTube or Facebook, or to send via Dropbox or WeTransfer. However you want to use your file now, it's a bit easier. There is a reduction in quality, particularly in the picture. The sound still sounds great, but the picture's not quite as good, but it's perfectly serviceable, shall we say, for most purposes. So I think it's a really good idea if you're trying to send or use a big file. So I hope that over the past 3 videos you've learned how to film yourself, how to edit yourself, and how to create a file to upload. And I hope you have fun having a go at making your own Lute videos. Do share them with the Lute Society, and hopefully we'll be able to feature some of them on this channel. Also, whilst we're on lockdown, why don't you take a Lute lesson with a proper teacher? I've been doing that myself and getting an awful lot from it, and I do it via FaceTime or via Zoom or other video conferencing software, and it works really well, surprisingly well. I've really enjoyed it, and it's been great for the teachers as well, I think, and it's really good to support the professional players out there whilst you can. In the meantime, do get in touch with the Lute Society if you want to see more videos like this, or you've got specific questions about how to record and edit yourself in this lockdown time that we find ourselves in. And also do join in Lute Society virtual meetings that we're hoping to organise, and hopefully you'll see a lot more content coming your way via the internet. All the best and happy plucking!